I'm going to be talking about Helldivers 2. It's been taking off. It's really popular. It's all over Twitter and whatnot. And yeah, it's been a breakout hit. And the first one was a bit of an indie game, but this one seems to be going a little more mainstream. And as the way the game is designed, people have been establishing an unspoken co-op etiquette because this game does have a lot of griefing in it, but by design. So one of the things in Helldivers is that it has uh, was it friendly fire, and this can come across in a lot of different ways. So you can obviously cause a lot of trouble for your friends. Also, there are things like limited ammunition needing to share. So some of the rules, there's a Reddit page dedicated to people leaving suggestions, things you can do. But here are some of the established etiquette that they have already recorded. So first of all, do not step in front of friendly fire. Obviously, if your friend is shooting at something, you don't want to be hit because then they have to resurrect you. Also, it could be a problem because they're not killing the enemy, which means that there's more enemies on top of you. So please do not step in front of people when they are shooting. Number two, place your stratagems carefully. Stratagems are basically the things that you can call down from the sky. It could be things like resupplies or a turret, or it could be respawning of a friend. Be very careful where you drop those because if they do land on top of somebody, it could be quite a problem. So make sure you're placing those in good places. When they do resupply, reload your weapon before you resupply, because if you reload after you resupply, then you might not be getting the full benefit of the resupply because you do have a maximum ammo count, and therefore it won't reach the maximum if your gun is not already fully maximized in its load. So reload your weapon first and only grab one pack so that everybody can get one. If you do grab a pack, I do believe it replenishes all your weapons, not just the weapon you're currently equipping. Leave a pack for everybody. Don't just grab them all and then you have ammo, but your friends don't. Do not loot your teammates' equipment unless, of course, they say that's perfectly fine. If a teammate goes down, if you resurrect them, they might need to go back and grab some of their guns and whatnot. So please do not grab that off their body, or else they're going to be running around with nothing to do. However, samples are shared between everybody. So as long as somebody has the samples by the end of the mission, then that is fine. So if somebody does go down, please grab their samples because that would be nice to have those. When you're going to place a turret, place it on high ground. That way you can stand underneath it and it can shoot over you. If you put it on low ground, it's going to be shooting through you. Turrets on high ground is usually pretty typical. Turrets do not really care about where your friends are. It will shoot through them if it has to. So please put that on high ground so as to avoid any unwanted situations. Stick with the host, whoever is hosting, try to stick with that person. Follow them around. If they go one way, you go one way. If they retreat, you retreat. Stick with that person is going to make it a lot easier to survive if you have your friends. Also, don't leave your teammates behind. So if you are the host and you see someone's lagging, wait for them. Do not just abandon them because it's going to be a lot harder to fight one man down, and it's going to be a lot harder to get them back to them if they are far behind you. Also, if the respawns, if somebody does go down, you can throw a respawn and that person can come back. Those can do a lot of damage if they hit something. So if you see a big enemy, feel free to drop your respawn on a big enemy and do quite a bit of damage to them. However, if there's a swarm of smaller enemies, do not throw your respawn into that because it's going to kill maybe one of them, and then your friend's going to be surrounded by a bunch of bugs or whatever. So that's obviously going to be really bad. And the final one is make sure you communicate at all times. You don't have to have your mic on, but they do have a ping system. So make sure you are communicating. And if you can do all these things, it should make your Helldivers 2 experience far more enjoyable. So go ahead and do those and enjoy Helldivers 2.